What's going on, Pokemon trainers? John here from 4Gamers with another Top 10 Shinies video. In the last episode, we counted down the top 10 most disappointing Shinies of Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. In this video, we're going to count down the top 10 best shiny Pokemon of the Alola region. Without further ado, let's get started. If you haven't seen the last episode, or don't know what a shiny Pokemon is, check out my previous video here. It'll also be linked in the description below. Anyway, on with the countdown. Kicking things off and surfing in at number 10, we have Alolan Raichu. Raichu's surfing Alolan form certainly doesn't fail to draw attention to itself, and in combination with a shiny makeover, it certainly makes for a pretty sweet shiny. This Pokemon surely breaks waves in its chocolate brown form, strongly resembling that of Dedenne's shiny sprite, and putting Togedemaru's to shame. Out of all the shiny Alolan variants, it certainly stands out, and most definitely breaks the norm for the shiny forms of the Pikachu family. Swinging in at number 9 is the Pokemon Sun exclusive, Pasiphaeincant. Pasiphaeincant is classified as the teamwork Pokemon, and it is said to battle with other Pasiphaeincant in groups of roughly 20, using hard berries for weapons in battle. When Pasiphaeincant becomes shiny, both the berry that it wears on its head and throws at opponents change from a pale melon color to an orange tangerine tinge. This Pokemon also gains a nice blue color on its shoulders, and even its fur and skin change color a bit. Unfortunately, Pasiphaeincant can't be encountered during an SOS chain, so if you want to get your hands on this melon matching monkey's shiny form, you're gonna have to hope that your 5% find also hits the shiny jackpot as well. Slicing up the competition at number 8, we have the new grass-type Pokemon, Laurentis. When this Orchid Mantis-inspired Pokemon was released pre-Sun and Moon launch, I honestly had no idea what Gamefreak would do for its shiny form. Laurentis' design already rocked the bacon for legs look, and I felt that any shiny sprite for this Pokemon would have to be extremely different in order to surpass its non-shiny counterpart. But then Game Freak went down a path that I honestly didn't see coming. The designers of Laurentis decided to make its shiny form green, the color of a regular mantis. This color choice was by no means flashier than its regular pink form, but somehow just felt very fitting for this new grass-type Pokemon, which is why Laurentis secures the number 8 spot of the best Alolan shinies. Slithering into number 7 is the toxic lizard Pokemon, Salazzle. Salazzle is a very unique Pokemon to begin with, as it only evolves from female Salandit, making a shiny Salazzle truly hard to come by. Salandit only has a 12.5% chance of being female, so if you plan on hunting for its wispy white form, I strongly recommend using a male Q-Charm Pokemon, like Sylveon, at the front of your party to boost the odds of encountering a female Salandit. In Salazzle's shiny form, this fiery lizard sheds its dark black scaling for a cool white coat, making it a basic yet beautiful shiny. Shiny Salazzle not only looks amazing, but would certainly be a true trophy of the Generation 7 games because of its difficulty to obtain, which is why Salazzle is number 7 on our list of the top 10 shinies. Crashing into number 6 is the Meteor Pokemon, Meteor. In Meteor's meteorite form, you wouldn't even notice if it were shiny unless you caught a glimpse of its shiny animation when it entered battle. In its core form, however, Meteor comes in 7 different colors, 8 if you count its shiny form, and it reminds me somewhat of Luma from the Super Mario Galaxy games. When Meteor becomes shiny, it changes from whatever colored core it would have to possess a black one, with different colored triangles inside its body. Obviously, Game Freak didn't want to make 7 different shiny forms for the Pokemon, so instead, they gave it one form to rule them all, and I've gotta say, it's pretty awesome. If you're looking to catch a shiny Meteor in the wild, make sure you have a Pokemon with the ability Damp on hand, as Meteor knows self-destruct when encountered on Mount Hokulani. I would also recommend keeping your eyes peeled at all times, as you wouldn't know if it's shiny in its Meteor form. And lastly, you're going to want to get it below half health when you do find your shiny, as it only has a catch rate of 30 in its Meteor form. So if you're up for the challenge of chasing a shooting star, then shiny Meteor would definitely make a great addition to your team. Barking into the number 5 spot is the puppy Pokemon, Rockruff. Comparing shiny Rockruff to its regular form, we see that it loses its sandy brown coat for a cool blue one, and we also notice that its blue eyes change to a lime green color. Rockruff is also very interesting, in that it evolves into 2 different forms of Lycanroc, depending on what version game the player owns. When shiny Rockruff evolves into its midday form, it retains the same palette swap as its pre-evolution. However, when it evolves into its midnight form, its red fur changes to dark blue, and its glaring red eyes change to deep fuchsia. Depending on what version you like better, you may be able to evolve your Rockruff in your own game, or may need some help from a trusted friend to evolve it in their game, and then trade it back to you. Either way, Rockruff leads to some pretty cool shiny forms, which is why it secures its spot in number 5 on this list. Swarming into number 4 is the brand new Stag Beetle Pokemon, Vicavolt. Vicavolt's evolutionary line is the second to lend itself to the electric bug typing, with Galvantula's back from Unova being the first. Vicavolt evolves from the battery Pokemon, Charjabug, which is also a bug electric type. However, Charjabug's pre-evolution Grubbin is a pure bug type. Grubbin was actually my first shiny in my copy of Pokemon Sun, and I was overjoyed to see that it would one day evolve into a vibrant colored shiny Vicavolt. And I've gotta say, for all the shinies Game Freak didn't get right in this game, shiny Vicavolt certainly wins back some points. The only disappointing thing I can say about Vicavolt is that it only evolves from Charjabug upon level up at Electric Rock, which is found pretty late game. But if you're willing to wait a while and know how to call chain Grubbin, shiny Vicavolt could definitely stagger its way into your collection. Flying free at number 3 is the canon Pokemon, Toucanon. Now if you've watched my video on the top 10 worst shinies of Sun and Moon, you probably noticed that Pikipek, Toucanon's previous evolution, made that list. But hear me out. Pikipek made the list of the top 10 worst shinies because the sole thing that changed about its shiny was its head feathers. Toucanon, however, changes color in multiple spots on its body, and just look at that beak color. I mean, it had to be included with the best. Compared to other bird Pokemon, Toucanon's shiny form blows the rest of the competition away, and its beak gradient is probably the highlight that makes its shiny sprite so awesome. One of the best things about shiny Toucanon is that pretty much anyone could get one if they have the patience. Simply call chain a shiny Pikipek on Route 1, evolve it into a Trumbeak at level 14, and then once more into a Toucanon at 28, and you're done. So if you find yourself debating which shiny to hunt next, Toucanon is definitely a viable option. Building itself up at number 2 is the Sandheap Pokemon, Sandygas. Sandygas has one of those shiny forms that make you just stop and admire it for a while, and is likely to go down in the history books with other awesome black shinies, such as Charizard and Greninja. In its fully evolved form, Palosand, it retains its shiny palette colors, but becomes an elegant sandcastle with a considerable defensive and special attack stat. I think the coolest thing about this shiny is that it's probably made up of volcanic black sand, which is rarer than regular sand, and therefore makes sense to be used for a sand Pokemon's shiny form. If you want to scoop up this shiny Pokemon for yourself, you're going to want to use a Pokemon with the ability Keen Eye, as Sandygas knows Sand Attack when found on Hano Beach, making it a real pain to chain when it persistently lowers your accuracy. But if capturing this ghostly ground type sounds like a stroll on the beach, then shiny Sandygas might just pile itself into your party. And now, sneaking its way into number 1, as well as into everyone's hearts, we have Mimikyu, the Disguise Pokemon. Since Mimikyu's release, this Pokemon's design became an instant fan favorite, and then Nintendo decided to make a song for it, perhaps giving it the most memorable backstory of any Pokemon yet. It should be noted that not only does this Pokemon have an awesome shiny form and backstory, but its disguise ability perhaps makes it one of the best setup Pokemon of Generation 7. Mimikyu's shiny form certainly didn't fail to please the massive amount of people that cherish this new Ghost Fairy type, and Game Freak's decision to wash out its colors even more was certainly the right way to go. All Mimikyu ever wanted was to be loved, which is why it rightfully deserves the number 1 spot on the list of the top 10 best shiny Pokemon of Generation 7. Thank you so much for watching this video of the top 10 best shinies of the Alola region. There are certainly even more great shiny forms that I couldn't cover in this video, so leave your favorite shiny Pokemon of Generation 7 in the comments below, and I'll consider making a part 2 to this video. Lastly, this video took a lot of time and work to create, so if you'd consider subscribing and commenting that you're a new subscriber, I'd love to reply with my appreciation. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'm John from 4Gamers, signing off.